Hey, what's up? It's E. Shea Smith here, former IBF junior middleweight champion of the world. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Sporting Icons. Cheers.
Right, thank you very much to Motaz for sending me this video, which is Tyson Fury had a podcast, I don't know whether it's on Zoom or Skype, whatever it was, with Gareth A. Davis. And among the many things they talked about, of course, Fury's talking about they're still waiting on Ajit Kabil to send back the contract, all that kind of stuff. But of course, inevitably, they got on to the whole Deontay Wilder situation, okay? And I don't need to go into too much because some of what he said here has already been published on TalkSport. But of course, this video has only just been released. And this particular bit that I'm about to talk about wasn't in the TalkSport article. So the bit that I want to talk about is that Tyson Fury said that Deontay Wilder will never, ever, ever get another opportunity against him again because of the crap that Deontay Wilder has been saying about Fury. You know, the glove gate, the spiking of the water, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so that's what he's saying. He says, it's okay to lose. Everybody wins, everybody loses. It happens. It's just a boxing match. And he even made mention to Anthony Joshua that when he lost to Andy Ruiz Jr., Joshua, he didn't come out with 1,000,001 excuses. Why is Wilder coming out with all this? Why is it that all of these things happened with Deontay Wilder? Why is he coming out with all these excuses? He talks about how what Wilder is saying about him is defamation of character. And it's an awful thing to accuse somebody of because you're accusing him of cheating, criminal activity, because you put something in your gloves, or if you spike the water, that's criminal activity. That's intent, is it not? But because of all the things that Wilder said, he's saying that Wilder will never, ever get an opportunity against him again. And it would be an opportunity. It was Team Wilder, again, according to Fury, who had this rematch on, but it was them that let it go. Every date that was offered to Tyson Fury said, yes, let's do that. But Wilder kept coming out with excuses, or Team Wilder kept coming up with excuses, with the original one being that he's injured, so Wilder can't train or whatever it was. But it was getting to a point where it was getting ridiculous. All dates, all venues, everything just kept getting knocked back. Quite clearly, Wilder didn't want the fight. But getting back to the point, Wilder will never ever get an opportunity against Fury again. Now, of course, Fury may, that kind of thing may be taken out of his hands, for example, if he was to, say, defeat Joshua or keep hold of the WBC belt or any other kind of belt, and Wilder becomes mandatory, then it's called. Then there's nothing in the world that Fury can do about it. But while Fury has a choice, Wilder's never going to get another opportunity again. That means every payday, every huge payday, a big fight night that Wilder had left, that he thought that he had left, is now gone. There are no big fights out there for him, are there? There's some good fights out there against Dillian Whyte or Andy Ruiz Jr., for example, but there's no fight for a world title in the foreseeable future because Wilder just had to come out with these absolutely ridiculous excuses. And so, as Fury says, you ain't ever getting another opportunity against me. Not because you lost, but because of the way that you've handled it. The way that you've been accusing me of all these things. You ain't getting a shot with me again. You don't deserve it. And I totally agree with Fury. And it shows that everything for Wilder's now backfired. He wanted to use Fury as a way to freeze out Joshua. Wilder openly said it. Him, Fury, can fight rematch after rematch for the foreseeable future. We don't need Anthony Joshua. We'll freeze him out. Well, now Wilder's the one frozen out. Wilder was the one originally offered $100 million for back-to-back fights with Anthony Joshua. And undisputed on the line. That's now gone. Fury, this guy who took 2.5, 3 years out of the ring, ballooned so much up in weight, took on 2 gab drivers, was a cherry pick for Wilder, and now Fury has taken all of that away along with Sophia, that WBC World Heavyweight title. And now Wilder's out in the cold because he couldn't stop it with conspiracy theories. But to be fair to Wilder, I don't think he actually realises that he's doing it. Or maybe he does. Maybe he's using all this as an excuse, knowing full well that Fury's going to go, we ain't fighting again. Screw you. Okay, Maybe, I don't know. But Wilder has always been in damage control. Wilder has always been the excuse maker. He's always been the one that it's always somebody else's fault. Pretty much throughout his whole career, he never stepped up, and it's always somebody else's fault. Big opportunities come along, it's somebody else's fault. Certain fights didn't happen, oh well, it's their fault. Always damage control, and of course now he's got a fanatical fan base who will back up Wilder no matter what. No matter what. But now you're never ever going to see your boy in the ring for a world heavyweight title fight. Probably ever, I'll guess now. Because now Wilder's taken that loss, I think he's going to take a couple more along the way. Honestly, I do. Wilder won't be the same kind of guy. He won't be the same guy. As soon as somebody lands clean on him, he's going to get flashbacks. Wilder's never liked on the whiskers. He's going to get flashbacks of that Fury Part 2 fight. And he's going to crumble, isn't he? He doesn't have a trainer in his corner who cares about him. He doesn't have a boxing person in the corner with him, like Mark Breland. He doesn't have that anymore. All of that's gone because he allows his fanatical fan base, who everything that they touch turns cancerous. Everything, they're like bad luck is what they are. It's happened with Wilder, it's happened with Jamel Charlo. I mean, the list goes on. Rigondeaux, the list goes on. But he wants to align himself with these guys because he knows that they are stupid enough to believe anything that he says. But ultimately now, you ain't seeing him in big fights. Ain't going to happen now. The biggest fight that you could possibly see him in there with now is probably an Andy Ruiz Jr. That's it. That's as far as it goes. Second biggest fight will be a Charles Martin. Oh well. For me, there's such a thing as humbleness. If you want to come out with one excuse, okay. But don't reel off a whole recipe and say every single one of the things happened. Makes it look weak, makes it look pathetic. Tyson Fury just had enough of you. He ain't going to give you that rematch, is he? You ain't getting it now. You can come out with all the crap videos that you want, and as Tyson Fury says, it's funny how now he's saying it, now the contract has expired, where's he been for the last X amount of months? He hasn't, has he? It's all too convenient, isn't it? Anyway, that's my thoughts on the whole situation. Tyson Fury says that Deontay Wilder is not getting that third fight of him. He's done with Deontay Wilder. Wilder, you'll never ever get an opportunity to get revenge on Fury. You're never ever going to be able to retire now saying, well, I defeated every man that I've ever faced. Because your opportunity of getting revenge on Fury, gone. And by the time maybe you can work yourself into a position to become a mandatory if Fury is a champion of any sanctioning body at that point, well, you're going to be too old by the time that comes around, because you're talking 2, 3 years, maybe even 4 years down the line because of all the mandatories and everything that's been stacking up. You're way behind the curve now, man. Way behind. Anyway, drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, subscribe, catch you all in the next video.